Hey there. If you're listening right now, maybe you're feeling a little, well, depleted.
Yeah, like you've got a lot going on, but maybe the energy or the focus,
Yeah.
that sense of intention just isn't quite there.
It happens, and it's easy to jump to thinking, yeah, something's really wrong,
Yeah.
that maybe you're somehow broken.
It's such a common feeling these days, definitely. And we often start searching for these big, complex reasons, right? Or complicated fixes.
But sometimes,
Yeah,
maybe the answer isn't some deep mystery.
exactly. Like Sherlock Holmes supposedly said, maybe it's just elementary, simple stuff.
And that's really the core idea from the source we're diving into today. We're looking at a blog post from Rethink Entrepreneur.
Right. And they pulled some really interesting insights, apparently from some TED clips, all about how our brains work best.
Uh-huh. And the blog post basically suggests that maybe the reason we feel drained or struggle with intention is, well, simply because we've overlooked the absolute basics.
The fundamentals we just forget about in the daily rush.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. Pull out the 5 foundational things this source highlights.
5 simple things, really. Easy to let slide, but the source argues they're essential checks. Things to tick off before you think you need a major overhaul.
Kind of like the daily levers you can actually pull to get back some energy, some intention.
Okay, let's dig in. The source starts with something incredibly basic. Something we literally can't live without.
Yeah, they kick it off with this phrase, water is brain juice.
Sounds a bit like a slogan, maybe. But the source really emphasizes how critical water is, specifically for your brain to function well.
Right. And the problem they point out, we often walk around dehydrated without even realizing it.
And according to this source, your brain is one of the very first organs to feel those negative effects. It suffers first.
That's interesting. We usually just think about being thirsty, but this suggests even mild dehydration can hit your thinking, your
Yeah,
focus.
your cognitive performance, it really is foundational fuel.
Okay, so building on that fuel idea, point number 2 is just as fundamental, though maybe a bit more complex day to day, food.
Ah, yes, the classic. We are what we eat. The source brings that right up.
And they connect it directly to your output. What you
Yeah.
put in your body isn't just about calories.
No, it's the actual raw material your brain and body use to do things. They really stress feeding yourself the right fuel.
So the implication is, quality matters. The type of food affects how you function, not just your physical shape.
It's like trying to run a performance car on bad gas, right? Your brain needs the good stuff for focus, mood, energy.
Makes sense. So if you're feeling drained, the source says, take a look at your fuel intake.
And right alongside fuel, the third key area is sleep.
Ah, sleep. Always a big one. And the source takes a pretty firm stance here.
Yeah, they directly push back against that old hustle culture idea, sleep less to work more. They call that thinking totally misguided.
That's crucial. Sacrificing sleep doesn't boost productivity. It actually undermines it.
Exactly. They highlight good sleep as a powerful memory booster and insist it's needed for way more than just, looking fresh.
It's essential for learning, for keeping your thoughts straight. Cognitive function.
So if you're feeling scattered or like you can't focus, pulling all-nighters, probably making things worse, not better, according to this.
Okay, number 4 on their list. Exercise.
Right. And we all know it's good for the body, but the source really underlines the impact beyond just the physical.
Yep, they specifically point to his contribution to mental, emotional well-being. That's key.
It's not just muscles and heart rate. Physical activity directly affects your brain chemistry, your resilience to stress.
So connecting back to feeling drained or lacking intention,
Hmm.
exercise isn't just about having more physical stamina.
No, the source implies it's a vital tool for managing stress, lifting your mood, and basically creating a better internal state for focus.
Okay, now the 5th point. This one might surprise some people.
Yeah, it's maybe less obvious. Playing a musical instrument.
And what's really interesting is how strongly the source positions it. They make a bold claim.
They do. They say playing an instrument actually beats Sudoku and crosswords, calls it arguably the best brain workout you can find.
Wow, better than puzzles.
That's the claim. And they emphasize this isn't about being musically gifted or talented, it's the act of playing.
How so?
Well, it engages so many different brain areas at once, thinking, moving, listening, all coordinated in this complex way that simple puzzles just don't replicate.
So it's presented as this unique, powerful way to keep your brain really sharp and integrated.
Pretty much. So the source lays out these 5: water, food, sleep, exercise, and music.
And it's not presented as some complex scientific breakthrough, right?
Yeah.
It's framed as fundamental stuff,
Yeah.
pillars we often overlook.
Exactly. Simple things that are just surprisingly easy to neglect when life gets busy.
They're framed as the essential checklist, the things you should really check on, maybe optimize, before assuming there's a deeper issue.
Before you decide you're fundamentally broken, yeah. They're positioned as the non-negotiables for feeling energized, focused, and intentional.
So there you have it. When you're feeling drained or overwhelmed, or just can't find that spark,
The source suggests maybe the first step isn't some complex new strategy.
maybe it's just revisiting these 5 basics: water, food, sleep, exercise, and engaging your brain, perhaps through music, practical daily things,
And the source actually leaves us with a direct question for you, the listener, to think about, especially if you are feeling that lack of energy or intention right now.
which is,
Which of these five might you be missing most in your life?
that's a good question.
And maybe more importantly, which one do you want to make a conscious effort to add or prioritize starting today? Something to mull over.